James Rath here. He's blind, but he has used his disability to help his online platform.
Hi, I'm James. I'm almost 22.
Maybe that should be updated. I'm 24 and I've had this YouTube channel since nearly 14 years. So that's, wow. I want to talk to you today about what YouTube is to me, why I still upload to this YouTube channel, what kind of content was here during the early days of my channel.
Was that real?
What I was making at 10 years old. We're gonna kind of dive into some stuff that I've never really shared on this channel for quite some time, so yeah, wow, okay.
10 years ago, I was only in my early teens experimenting with videography and storytelling. I attempted comedy skits, scripted dramas, vlogs, tech videos, and just about any other genre you've seen on the platform at the time. None of these videos were original, or at least were of quality, but I also wouldn't have gotten to where I am today without them.
Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
You started filmmaking from a very early age, basically creating, online videos from home, and then you eventually moved on to the bigger scale film work. Where did the interest come from?
Since starting this YouTube channel in 2006, I've just been able to experience so many dream come trues. I want to talk a little bit about what those are. I mean, for instance, most recently, I've been able to shadow like one of my favorite Hollywood directors. I've directed commercial campaigns. I've been able to even interview one of the most notable CEOs of our time. And let alone having the privilege to be able to collaborate with other YouTubers who have allowed my message and myself reach millions of people has just been, I'm just so glad I started this YouTube channel.
It was a rap battle against Justin and Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Okay.
At such a young age, I often experienced one of two common reactions when peers found out that I created videos. Some thought it was pretty neat, while others would ridicule me, and suddenly I'd just be known as the video guy.
One of the most important things I had to do in order to keep going was just ignore all of it. The negative, the positive, just kind of keep going, because I was largely influenced by my father and his friends. As they were kids, they were making all kinds of Super 8 films and converting those to VHS, and I got to check out all those when I was a kid. But two of his friends who were really coordinating and directing these little home movies actually made it to Hollywood. And what I mean by made it to Hollywood was they worked on movies like Spider-Man, the Spider-Man trilogy, the Soul Surfer, Narnia, like big feature-length films. And it's amazing to have your hands on stuff like that, right? And to make that your job, that's awesome. Like, that's what motivated me as a kid. Like, knowing that I was like 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, and being able to just know someone who worked on these things that I got to go to the theaters to see, like, and knowing that back at home, what I was creating was very much what they did 30 years ago. Keep that motivation going and just make whatever I could, and even when it wasn't great, I still had the motivation because I knew where I could go with it. I never knew what kind of stuff I would be doing as an adult with film, and I don't even know what kind of stuff I might be doing in the next few years, but being able to share with you some of the things I've been able to already do since starting my career in film and using YouTube as a very viable platform to gain some notoriety or be able to share my message. I want to share that with you. I want to share with you what I'm doing on this platform that has helped spark opportunity outside of it.
It wasn't until I was nearing my late teens when I finally opened up about being legally blind on YouTube and talked about my two ocular conditions. Due to my history with bullying about my ocular conditions, I really wasn't sure how people would react on such an open platform. What I found, however, pleasantly surprised me. Community. Not only did I discuss what it was like to live with a visual impairment, but I was actually able to use my video skills to emulate it. I was then able to connect with other viewers who had visual impairments or were impacted by blindness. In fact, one of these viewers who was visually impaired worked for YouTube at the time. This person in particular also ran a nonprofit, which led me to Minneapolis to speak at a conference.
What I discovered when I put myself out there and I got vulnerable and shared the very thing that impacts me every day, well, I found a purpose. I found people that could relate, I found people who couldn't relate and were curious or wanted to learn more, or people who wanted to troll.
One of the most notable short films I actually made was How Apple Saved My Life. In this video, I talked about how accessible technology impacted my adolescence and paved a way for me to become a legally blind filmmaker. Within the week that I made that short film, suddenly it was getting picked up by Mac blogs and eventually CNN. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, shared that film on his Twitter and eventually invited me to the headquarters. The following year, I spent Global Accessibility Awareness Day for a week on their campus. That week consisted of speaking opportunities, networking with other champions within accessibility in the tech space, and an interview with the CEO of Apple himself, Tim Cook.
One of the biggest decisions that I ever made was not continuing higher education, and ultimately not going to film school, but still moving out to Los Angeles and in pursuit of opportunity. I do just want to note, though, that you do not have to move to a city in order to pursue opportunity. Very much that can come to you no matter where you are broadcasting yourself. But I only did it for other reasons, such as accessibility. Being legally blind, living in the suburbs where I would have to walk on back roads for 4 miles just to get to a bus stop was not ideal. And for me, at the time at 18, I needed a shakeup in my life. I needed something where I could pursue independence and live independently, like being able to use an Uber or go around on a bus or metro, whatever it was. And if you are in a situation where that would be beneficial, then yes, look into the most affordable options for you, wherever you are, wherever the closest city, or maybe you could find some opportunity in accessible living, do that. But again, that does not apply to everyone, especially for those who are able-bodied and sighted who can drive.
The best way that I knew how to continuously feel creatively fulfilled was by sharing independently produced videos online. Beyond the opportunities with Apple, my approach to film and advocacy led me to score a major campaign for Tommy Hilfiger. Within my pitch deck, I pushed for authentic representation and for more job opportunities for disabled talent. The competition was fierce, however, with Emmy award-winning directors already up for this commercial. Though the client decided to take a risk on my approach, we ended up scoring 3 awards at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Advertising, and I even spoke on stage with the CEO of Tommy Hilfiger himself. With no formal higher education, I eventually heard of a program being hosted by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, alongside the Ruderman Family Foundation, known as Lead 20, Leadership in the Digital Age. This program set out to train a handful of selected disability rights advocates with the necessary skills to build an IP, advocate online and in the workplace, and speak confidently about your message. I felt extremely grateful I was able to share this opportunity with other amazing friends I met, like Angel, Ricky, Dr. Mike, Dan and Alex, and so many more.
Now, I've recapped a few experiences that I've gained outside of this online space thanks to what I'm doing here, creating videos. Keep in mind, I am not collecting a major check from these videos. In fact, most of what I gain from the AdSense money, that only goes back into my own videos and investing in those, like closed captions or things that helped optimize the videos, whether it be software or gear. I really don't collect any of that myself. What I'm really doing here, though, is sharing stories and things that I'm passionate about. Luckily, individuals, organizations, and companies have aligned with many of the stories that I've shared on my very YouTube channel, and because our values are lining up, they want to work together. And when we do, that's where you make a living. So you have to look at, when you're using a free resource and platform like YouTube, what other revenue streams can you open up? What other ways of income can you get? In conclusion, my advice is that I believe that you need to use this platform and other free platforms, whatever works best with your medium, to expand your reach, to essentially get your message out there. And maybe you aren't an expert in a specific field, but you could be an asset there. For example, I'm legally blind and I know about accessibility. I know how accessibility can impact user interfaces and tech and stuff, but I don't know anything about programming. I couldn't program. But what I am often brought in to do is consult on how a person who is blind or low vision can use something like a smartphone or an online website or something like a video game. I help programmers understand what user interfaces are best used and how we use our senses to interact with such mediums like touchscreens, controllers, and what is used best in those scenarios so that they can expand their reach and their audience. So Again, that's just one example, but think about how you can be an asset for others and other people in other fields that you aren't necessarily an expert in. So collaboration is important and a great tool, and consultations can really go a long way. I guess this answers a few things. One, my personal take on YouTube and how I utilize the platform. Two, why I still make videos, but I've only got like 20,000 subscribers. Again, numbers are completely irrelevant for me personally, as long as the right people are seeing the right videos, and hey, hopefully I can be a better asset in other areas. With that, I hope you could see different, and I will hear you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you wish to further support these types of videos, or the How Blind People series, or any other upcoming documentary projects, please consider checking out my Patreon. There, you can engage with me on a Q&A podcast, get exclusive extra videos, and hang out on monthly live streams. Don't feel obligated to pledge, but just by supporting and engaging here, you're already supporting the channel and my film work, so thank you.